Alright, we got what we need so far. So what I'm going to do, got our little saw. Got some of this. Basically got because we're going to 90 out to there and down. That'll act as our breather. Oh, it's right in the way of that plastic pipe. It's always something new. That's the one thing we have to deal with. Grab those lines anyways. I have them cut, so we got our hot. That's going to go down to there. And cold. Cold's not going to be an issue at all. There's no. Might have to just put it farther down. That sits in the wall. That's like so. More or less. Try to get the bend out of this. I guess it could go like that, but we have no way of stabilizing unless. No, we can't do that. There are thoughts here. I'm thinking I could take a 2x4 No, you can't do that either. It'll have to kind of sit like that. Anyways, I could 90 over. If I bring this down far enough, could just 90 over and back. I'll just put it here. Or here. Let's do the 90s first. Yeah, I guess I could have put a stud in here temporarily, straight to the ground. And then we have roughly something to work with. I also kind of need to, I want to put that toilet in here, just to make sure everything fits nicely. I don't need this here. I think that's what I'm going to do. $88 5/8 plus. 88. I'm actually also going to do is cut a plate for the bottom. Just because we're going to need it anyways. Right where that is. We'll just leave it a little bit long here. between 8 feet and 88. Well, if it's sitting on my plate, it's not going to matter. So for now, this can go. Just gonna have to drill the holes for all this. For the pipes to pass through anyways. It's actually longer than 8 feet, isn't it? Oh, that's 8 feet. Yeah, that's 8 long. I've never had to do things so backwards in my life when it comes to this stuff. Actually, what I could do is actually reroute this one. More or less. Where's that T-square? There's my pencil. Yeah, that's what I could do. Okay, for now. That's where that stud's gonna go. And I should actually reroute that red line to here. Okay, now my tape measure. Measure from this line back 2 inches. One and 3/4. Then you could actually just run one up through there. I nailed the shit out of that. This might be a headache. Alright, worst case scenario. Dull? There we go. top of screws.
Okay.
Alright.
Want a piece of pizza?
Sure.
Want some pizza? Hold on.
Alright, that's in. Now.
So are you going home tonight?
Maybe. I didn't really decide yet.
Yeah. Here, have a slice.
Might be easier to leave in the morning. Where'd you get this?
Fox and Hound in Ennisville. It's like the best fucking pizza.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's so good. Here,
Fox
son.
and Hound.
Come here. I'm gonna brainstorm and grab this up. I gotta clean this fucking house while I smell eggs.
So now I'll cut the stud.
Are you ripping out a tooth? Go. Let me see. Is it coming out? Ah! You're bleeding! Ah! Ew. You're bleeding. I don't have to towel. We'll grab it. Here. Should we go grab it? George, I'll be right back. You fucking psycho. I'll be right back, George. Oh my god, now you're bleeding all everywhere. Hurry, go.
Now we can just throw this stud in. It's actually 87 and an eighth. actually. It'll go like this. Grab a couple more screws. And this way we can just kind of set it up. This is not how I build walls. This is just me doing this to get all the plumbing for sure where it's gonna go. I don't know where that came from. So I can get all the plumbing for sure where it's gonna go. We are gonna use this stud exactly in this place. We just might have to trim the top when we put the top plate in. This is just so we can line everything up the way it needs to go. And I do need to use a 2x, because this wall wasn't 2x4, it was 2.5 inch, so it's a bit bigger. So I'm mocking this up just to make sure that everything fits the way it should. And one of those things will be, we're going to have our ABS coming up this stud, 90 off. And the reason why I'm doing this is to get the air, the breather. Because this is a breathing pipe up here. And technically it's going to breathe through the box. But I'm just going to kind of route it over, put a T here. That way it can breathe and drain properly. That's the whole point of all of this. This is why we're doing this. So now that's kind of twisty. I hate using screws. I would normally use 3.5 inch. And so I'm just going to level. At least I know when I level this stud, I can actually take measurements off of it if I want to. At some point. Not that that's ever recommended. Bam, 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 bam. I usually always wear pouch, but Okay, that'll hold it there. That's good enough. That's mocked up. Now, grip rings. Well, looks like we're gonna need more of these too. Basically have everything we need right here. And I wonder if I should just use I guess it could be long enough if I make make my life easier. See, everything we're doing here is just kind of on the fly, right? Like, I didn't plan this out because, you know, a lot of things changed. And we weren't sure how everything was going to go back. Right? We went from side-by-side washing machine and dryer to stacking so we can have, like, area to fold clothes and store stuff. And then, you know, changing the vent area, basically the dryer vent is here. It used to be in the floor and it just vented under the trailer, but this one vents outside to the next door neighbor. So right now I'm just gonna come down like 3 inches and over. Yeah. So let's do this. Because we're gonna have excess on this pipe. want to make sure that toilet has enough clearance because I might end up having to cut this stud down like a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch off. Because we might not have enough. We're shrinking the bathroom slightly. And everything's already tight as it is. Having the washing machine in here and everything else. Basically, the washing machine can go up against this box. But then this box is going to be the vent for the dryer. And yeah, I really feel like before I do all that, I might as well at least mock up this 4 foot. It's 3 foot. All I did was stand there.
Yeah. One time she's like on the phone and I like just walk up quietly behind her.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I should cut out of that. So I gotta cut that out, put the T in, which is right there on the ground. This I can make sure everything's nice and flat and lined up. Got little baby pieces here. Man, oh yeah, green at least. It's even better. It's not long enough. You gotta have other bits. Other bits? No, these are 1/4 inch. Oh, there's a bit. There's bits over here. I like using up all the small pieces before I start cutting new stuff, because what's the point of having a bunch of small pieces? Cut that nice and straight. Six and a quarter. Five and three quarters. Fifteen and 3/8. 15 and a quarter is good. That will sit in there like that. It's basically just to draw air, existing air, through the, what do you call it? Through the box. Because the hose is going to go down. And when it bypasses, it's going to probably hang down about here, shoot water down and out, while it can still take air. I would have gone higher to kind of be above that hose, but I had an issue with this. Like, technically I could cut it and go to there, but I don't know, that's a little... Either which way, I can always cut this pipe to move it higher to get it to there. I could technically glue all this together. to make sure everything sits right. Or ABS here. Might need a wrench to open this. This can looks like it's 100 years old. Oh look, there's a wrench right there. So literally is a brand new can, never been used. Oh, it's another cat popping up from the depths. From the depths underneath. The cat's underneath the floor. Nice seal all the way around. I put way too much on there. But we got a good seal. We got a good seal. Just get some of that excess glue out. Moreno? Why hello. Did you come to be my friend? Yeah, see that one's a little bit. This looks a little longer. Might have to trim this once this dries. Definitely nicely sealed. Perfect. Lines up nicely. Now let's make sure that this one is a little bit long. Everything sits nicely. Perfect. Perfect. Everything is lining up perfectly. Now, we just run that inside. 15 and a half. I should have enough to finish. 15 and a half. Yeah, that'll be plenty. Notice how I set everything up to basically glue everything precisely. So I can just boom, boom, line it up. Everything will be nice and straight. Basically gotta go outside, inside. This one I will have a little bit of a harder time twisting it in because I gotta set everything up. Make sure it's nice and straight. Got glue all over me. I'm gonna dry this brush off. And that way I can just kind of dry up You eating dog food, cat? There. Look at at that work of art. I might actually make and I gotta make that pipe even shorter. I might just cut it here. Just the higher I get it, the doesn't even care. So, who are you seeing? Like the higher I get this pipe, the better airflow I'm going to get out of this stack area. Where's that? Let that dry, and then basically do that. One inch in. One inch. The center, right? Yeah. Lined up there. Oh, it's me. What does it mean? What happened to the Barbie? Cat is not allowed to have legs or arms.
These motherfucking dogs are horrible.
The only one I've been getting is orange.
Which one of you chewed the legs off of Ken?
That's mine. It's mine.
Or go get me a garlic bag. Now, two of them.
Well, at least he didn't.
Go get me 2 garbage bags.
Okay.
I don't think Felipe has anxiety. I don't think so, but I think anxiety. Philippe. Kitten cat. I can move the plywood. Everything relies on this toilet being in the right spot. More plumbing stuff.
Here.
Let's see.
Oh, is it on?
Yeah, it's been on. Hello? Huh? Yo. Yeah. Was that all you called for? I already looked at the roof. I know what the problem is. The problem is the way the... I said I already looked at the roof. So... No, I never said that. I said I already know what the problem is, how all this started. Huh? That's the plan. Yeah, well. I know that. That's why I want to tear it down, put it up as fast as I can. So that's why I want to tear it down, put it up. I gotta get the material. As soon as I have the material here. Yeah. Yeah. What, the wall? Yeah. Yeah. What? What? Because you call me and you're sarcastic with me and like talking shit to me, and all I'm trying to do is fucking finish this shit, and then it's like sarcastic every 5 seconds. Like I don't see why I have to put up with that. To me, it is. That was the whole point of why I said I needed that money, so I can get all the material I needed, and there's no like having to wait around for anything. Just get it done. I'll do the material list today, and I'll try to get the inside walls, all the stuff I can. I'll try to make it as cheap for you guys as possible, you know, and get it done. Yeah, well, that's nowhere near the point. I haven't been able to pay shit in like forever, but I'm still trying to get your shit done. So, you know, given the circumstances, huh? Yeah, I'm speculating that it's around 500. It might be a little bit more, but it'll just come out at 1,000, right? That's why I wanted 1,000, so I actually had some money, but you know, I've been working on nothing. No. Well, I wouldn't have done that. I've never done that. I've many times I've used my money and then had nothing. Like it's I've done what I can when I can, how I can, right? It's just I don't need the sarcastic bullshit about oh it's taking forever because I want to do things perfectly. No, I do things right. If you don't want me to do well at this point there's no other way. That's the thing, right? Like, I can't close the floor until I've done every fucking thing with the plumbing. Then now we're past the plumbing. Like, the hot water tank's in place, hot water's on. Right? I can close the floor. It's been 24 hours. There's nothing leaking. But now I'm working on the plumbing for the washing machine and the toilet to make sure everything lines up. Because there's no fucking plans for this and everything's new. Right? There was no box in the wall before to run the plumbing to have the drain in. It was just a fucking pipe in the wall and hoses were in the wall. So everything kind of needs to get mocked up. I literally just rolled the toilet in just to make sure that, because I had to make that wall where the washing machine is thicker because of the box. So I'm making sure that the plumbing below lines up with that, right? So then I can finally, now that I know that it all works, I can put the plywood down, you know. Sure, if everyone's like, "Oh, I just want to see the plywood down, so it's done." Then we can do the plumbing. Now it's a fucking headache to do everything, right? That's why it takes so long. It's not just, this is not a standard thing. Everything here is basically fucking custom made, right? Everything takes longer because of that. Right? It's not because I want to take longer. It's not because I enjoy fucking, you know, being in a situation, but I'm here, doing it. We're all stressed. I want it to be done too, trust me. I want to make money. And I'm trying my best to make it work. Yeah, that's the plan. I don't want to. No, I just gotta rip out all the rotten studs. There's probably like 6 just behind the one in your bedroom. Like I might have to just rebuild the whole thing. But regardless, I have to rebuild it all anyways because, you know, from the window and the shower
Look, it's
all the
fitting
way
together.
back's rotten.
Yay!
And I probably have to rebuild around the storage window, but some of that wood I can reuse, right? I'm only gonna reuse good stuff, not shit stuff.
Go. Go. Go.
Yay! I'm gonna get fixed.
Did you get your teeth out? Your room's a fucking disaster.
It's not gonna rot in 6 months.
Pick your fucking jacket up. Put your boots away. Quit leaving it like that.
Yeah.
Pissing me off.
Yeah, but I only know how to do it one way. I can only do it the right way. That's the only way I know how. And I'll try to do it as fast as possible. Basically, everything should get quicker at this point once the plywood by the across from the hot water tank is down and the insulation's in, because now I don't have to fuck around with shit that I gotta do before I put the plywood down. The hot water tank had five or six different holes that had to line up with the shit below. Right? If it doesn't line up, then you're sitting there trying to fucking cut it and fix it when everything's glued down.
Where?
I don't know. 1449. How much do they charge for a call like this? Huh. Crazy. Crazy extortion. Huh. But trust me, I wanted it done too. I'm losing out on other jobs I could be getting, but I'm here. Right? Like, I'm not making any money here. I'm not wanting to make money on you guys, but like, you know, I should at least be able to pay my bills. Yeah. Look at the way you say that. So I'm not complaining. Like, nobody works for free, right? Like, I want to help, but like, I didn't want to help where now I'm fucking eating shit caked.
What?
But,
Is there anything underneath there? Get your toys off. Like, I'm losing my mind right now. Not deal with this fucking part.
well, it's just to know that I can get everything, right? I gotta get extra sheets for outside because we got 6. I probably need 10 to finish the wall, right? Like, it needs to all be there so that when I take the wall apart, I can put it all back together and go, oh, I'm short a sheet, but I can't afford a sheet. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we're gonna at. Like, it's like juggling, but whatever. It's gonna get done. It's gonna look good when it's done. I get it. I know. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, right? Yeah, it's a lot. Maybe brother. Hello. Maybe brother shouldn't put himself in positions like this.
I saw a sign. It
Go,
was my
get over here. You don't have shoes on. Freddie, I want your room done now.
I said maybe brother shouldn't put himself in positions like this, and then this wouldn't be such a fucking headache. But can't cry over spilt milk. In what way? Yeah.
Freddie, I want your room done. It's Easter tomorrow. If the Easter bunny is coming, it needs to be done.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. No, I know. I already knew it. I had a feeling he wasn't gonna pay me. I was just stupidly. The guy, hello? Not paying me.
What?
Yeah, I had a feeling. I was like, I should just go work somewhere else. And I was like, this is quick. It's now. Maybe it's not going to be this. You know, when you have that thought, I don't always want to be negative, right? I'm trying to be positive. I still got to call the guy because he said those clients are back now. So, all right. Yeah. So we're spending time talking about it getting cut. But Oh, I'm gonna keep. What about you? You keep going. Let's get. See? You have exceeded the allowable time. I have exceeded the allowable time.
Did it fucking do it?
Yeah. Oh, look at you. You got your fancy art.
She's like, FN Mom. I'm like, that's a B.
Maybe she meant Storm and Bud.
She's like, that's
Or
Mom.
Bro.
That's for Mom. I'm like, okay. Wow, that's a toilet.
Yeah, well, it's not going in. It's more or less just to make sure this wall is not going to be affected by
Shitter.
the shitter. Where are those bolt marks? That's it there.
Wham bam.
Perfect, just enough. Lost a little bit of room by like an inch
Yeah.
and a half because of this. And
Like in the bathroom area.
yeah, I pushed it in
Whatever.
this way. But
It's not like I have a giant sink going in now or like,
no,
right?
this sink's gonna be over there, so this is perfect. And then the vent will come up right here,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll just connect here whenever the stacking kit comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I have to fuck with this breather because you need a breather line. So I built that, and I have to run the pipe down through on this side and cut the one underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And that way we can get air from here so that the water flows properly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just wanted to make sure all that was going to fucking work out perfectly. So then I can connect that plastic pipe down below, throw the vent in before I put the plywood down.
Did that come with a back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank God. I'm like, did I fucking buy one? I lose my mind.
I just didn't put it on because I don't want it to break.
Yeah. There's no
And
point
it's
in
too
putting it
heavy,
on.
right? Like
Yep.
it's support.
Taking it off, putting it on, yeah.
But we're not going to put this one in right away until we'll put the old one in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a rubber flange
Mm-hmm.
so we can take it on and off. And
Mm-hmm.
then when we set it in permanently, then it's done. Because the plan is we'll build this wall. Once this wall is built and plywooded, we insulate vapor barrier, Then build these walls and attach it to those walls. Then that way you have a nice vapor barrier seal. This side of the house won't leak, but it'll leak everywhere else until
It's done.
those sides are done.
So when are we doing the wall?
I just gotta get the stuff. So I'm gonna do a material list tonight of how many studs I need, count what I have.
Mm-hmm.
We still need to get pocket doors.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll cut this back.
So now that all like essentially the hard work is done,
Yeah, it'll go faster.
it'll go faster.
Cause like it's literally like everything's lined up perfectly. It's just fucking lining it up perfectly through the sheet that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you just drill through, fucking go, and then you're done, right? But this is building a mock wall, putting in the stud, so that I can run it all. Before I had this pipe coming straight up, and then I was like, fuck, I can't actually run that pipe through. So now I had to go 90 off there, come down, and I actually got to move this plumbing, because I already drilled the hole here for the plumbing, to the original one. I have to move it over to here, and then bring that water line up here, and then through
Oh,
here.
so you have to move it?
I have to move it slightly. That's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, because there's no other way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, this wasn't here before, and now we're adding it, right? Before, lines just went straight through, so yeah, I can't foresee everything.
Yeah.
Unless I have a plan. And usually plans, you know, involve somebody coming in going, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. But then I'm just going to reuse this. This stud's going to go here, and this is going to go here. I'm just going to take it apart. When I put the floor down, just bam, 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 bam. Run the fucking plastic through. Connect everything, because I'll have it up, sticking up like 6 inches like I did there.
Mm-hmm.
And then just connect it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's done. Right, like just this sheet had like I think 6 different fucking holes that had to line up with the one below.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last minute I had changed this drain because remember we had 2 there before and I couldn't reuse the old stuff.
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna angle this so it comes down.
So there.
It's all, everything will drain right down through the trailer. I can't hook it up to the main. But it's like, you're almost never going to use that. There's a little orange cap with holes through it in the bottom. So critters can't come up, but
Yeah,
water
why?
can go through.
Here's your license.
That's my old one. Go put it back.
Could I snap it in his?
Just go put it away.
So then all I got to do, set this up. Once this is done, lay this sheet, insulate, then lay these 2 sheets because they're all ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Then move these 2 vents, and throw that next sheet down, but I gotta cut that wall up. So I'm basically gonna do that before I start this wall. Right, so I'll cut that down, lay this sheet, do all that, and then once that's done, I'll start this wall, I'll support it. The whole reason why it makes no sense to build all this is because I need to be able to walk through and get everything so I can get it done in a day or day and a half. I'm trying not to leave your house open for an entire day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
No.
It's basically, it'll be open for an entire day, but I gotta close it off right away.
Mm-hmm.
I clean.
Right? So I want to tackle it, like cut back all this sheeting that doesn't need to be there, rip this wall out. So, but before I do that, I have to support this wall, the ceiling, at least every like 8 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Put a plate on the ceiling, not screw it in, but just put a stud like this to hold things up. Kind of like how I did this 2x6 shit.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's what's holding up the outside wall. And then,
Mom, you need this?
now that that outside wall is held up, and it's held up the way it is, this plate
Mom, can I
Yeah.
just goes in perfectly, right?
Yeah.
So now, I already have the plate cut. I just gotta run it.
Yeah.
Right, we'll put Acousti-Seal at the bottom so nothing leaks, which is a black, it's the same black shit that they use for poly,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just more of a seal. Right, and then that way when we put the sheeting on, we'll we'll run it past and it'll like seal everything. Throw in that other insulation. It's gonna sound better. And your house is gonna stay warmer longer. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the window out, and I'm just gonna sheet over it. But I'll leave this opening, and then I'll fuck with this after, and then we can just cut out the plywood and throw it in, and then maybe later order a window for that.
Can we size that so I can just order a window?
You can, yeah.
I just don't know how big it is.
All right.
So if you could just tell me, then I'll just order. I'm just gonna call them and order one.
Okay.
Because I should have done that long ago because I would have had it by now.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And then
No,
once
just-
that wall's done, then we can throw the tub in.
Yeah, because I have a litter of puppies in like 3 weeks, and she usually has them in my closet.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't have anywhere besides my closet.
To litter them.
So I kind of need my room. I'm like fucking stressing. 'Cause she's like, now that I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh my god, you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't know where the fuck you're gonna go.
Yeah. Well, this shouldn't take 3 weeks. Because we don't really have any electrical to do or any more plumbing aside from putting these things back where they were. Kind of relocating some of that. But at least
So
once.
that's just relocating. That's not like it's fucking a huge thing.
Yeah, no. The only thing that's gonna take time is just building the plate to match that and notch it. But like that's kind of gonna be the same day that this happens and that happens. So we'll need, I think, 2x6 for this, so that this wall lines up with that pipe, and then everything else is just gonna go faster. It's just stop, go, fuck plumbing, framing, plywood. More plumbing, more framing than the heat vent shit.
I know.
It's
It's
and the best part is now.
fucking vents right in front of the doors.
Yeah, it's kind of retarded. Maybe it was meant so that that it could leak out into the rest of the house. I don't fucking know.
But they're so close together.
Yeah. And this one will be somewhere. We're just moving it over, capping the thing, and having it in front of the vanity somewhere. Maybe even on this side of the joist.
Hold on, Storm.
And then that one will just go there, and then that way you're not fucking walking over vents when you come into your rooms and shit.
And I'm constantly breaking them. I'm like replacing the vent heaters all the time. I should just get metal ones, but I get the plastic ones because I'm scared that the metal's gonna, I don't know, it's in my
Cut
head.
your feet.
No, that it's gonna melt my floor. I don't know why. It's in my head.
Melt your floor.
Yeah, because I had a metal one out here and it was literally melting the floor.
Really?
Like it would get so fucking hot.
So that's why it's in your head, because it actually happened.
Yeah. So it was like melting the, but I have to see clean my fucking living room because all I smell is fucking piss. And I'm so fucking moving over it. What did I say? Don't look at me like that. I said get your room done.
And then we need to put K5 in here, which is that 1/4 inch plywood. Then throw the Schluter, that orange shit, glue that down, then throw tile over it.
Yeah, I gotta look for tiles.
Yeah. Probably get a black tile,
I don't know what tile I
big
want.
format, or
I'm gonna
brick
get like
style.
the bigger ones.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get the bigger ones so it's probably cheaper,
I don't think there's a such thing anymore.
right?
What is cheap nowadays?
And then I don't even care. Like obviously the flooring can fucking wait until everything is done.
Yeah.
I don't really care to walk on this shit.
Yeah.
But
So basically just run the joints all the way up this joist and then cut it off here, and then that's, say Bob's your uncle then? Because you don't want to fix anything else after.
after that, no. I don't really fucking care.
Alright.
Stardy, I'm gonna take your phone away. Like actually, I'm gonna take your phone away.
Oh, I did cut that. Piece is right behind me.
Okay, just being clean. Are you done with this green thing or no?
talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can throw it in the thing there. You know, I'll just roll it up.
What did your brother say?
What do you mean? So how long is it going to take? I'm like, as soon as I get the materials, like, when are you going to start it? I'm like, when I get the material.
I'm done.
Yellow, yellow. Like, I can leave right away.
And you got your smart card.
8:45 to 4:30 is my party. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, because like I can leave right away and back to my living room. And that's my lunch break. Okay, that's fine. That's perfect. Yeah. And then I need to do all of that. Yeah, but I do that. Sorry, yeah. Okay, thank you. No, I'm going to work. You cannot come. You can go to the ground or stay here. Literally not even gonna be long. This is just. Hello. Nothing, just cleaning my house. Yeah. Oh. No, they suck. I have one.
Oh. Well, at least we got the toilet in and it fits nicely. Just enough between the wall. That means that plumbing below can be connected. So there it is. Look at that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I want your room done by the time I get home, okay?
Okay.
I'm only going for.
An hour.
I'm not gonna be very long.
Get all that. I guess I don't need the toilet in there anymore. I just wanted to be 100% sure here that everything works out.
Pick your little kitty up. Yeah, tomorrow is Easter and we want to.
For the Easter bunny? Oh, really? Sure.
And then I have here's 7. Here's 7 here, and then I'll send you 3.
Alright.
Here, let me just double check this outside.
Is it?
And then I'll send you 3 right now.
Alright. Okay. Put this over here. And move it. Move after the right. Alright. So that's all good to go. This is no good anymore. No, that's not good anymore. Alright, let's cut.
piss everywhere. Like, we're organized, fucking everything. Like, I just try to steam clean, try to vacuum. Fucking 400 toys all over. Like,
Well, the good thing is there's no nails in the way. I need my other setup. Let's do that. I guess I don't have to use an impact. I could technically use this. Oh, is it big enough to receive that? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. pretty good.
Laundry underneath that blanket.
I know, I don't want to play with it.
Okay, I'll be right back, okay? I love you. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. I love you, I'll be back, okay? Okay, I'll be right back. We are being
some water for the table. Here. Come and drinks. Yeah, that lines up with that. I don't want to waste this line though.
You're building my room?
Not yet. Chunks, where are you going? Go back.
Chunks.
Yeah, go back
Oh,
up.
no, Chunks. Chunky
What are you
Chunks.
doing? Here, let me put your bed down for you.
Right now?
Well, for him to lay down so he's not in my way. There. You can lay down.
Lay down. Lay down, baby. Come on.
Lay down. Yeah, good boy. Thank you.
Good job.
Gorgeous guy.
Yes, he is. Oh, good. Good. Is he a boy?
Yeah.
No. He runs it. He follows me everywhere.
He loves people.
It looks like it.
He loves people.
So in a couple days, is my room gonna be done? Well, is the wall gonna be done?
Maybe in a week.
Oh.
Then you'll have your room back.
Yeah.
You will have your room back.
What are you doing?
Why aren't you laying in your bed? Gorgeous thing.
Good job.
I got a drill.
I'll get you the drill.
No, I'm just thinking of what I need to get done next.
Got you the drill.
Thank you.
Good for you until you need it. Measuring?
Yeah.
It's gonna be right here.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I made sure before I came in, I put it shoes on
Nice. Good.
because I don't want to get splinters and I want to be safe.
There's no way it's that dull. I feel like the impact. I actually may just have enough. And then I can put round all to hold that against there. It's all kinds of dangerous. Yeah. So that'll go there. Like so. That's why we have to reroute. For all that to line up. The next pipe is going to have to come through the floor. Six and three-quarter. And there we have our breather line here, our drain. Then we just got to hook it up underneath. And Bob's your uncle. If you had an Uncle Bob. I saved those copper fittings because you can make stuff out of them and they're high quality copper. I think I cut this for here. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, isn't the sewer gas going to come right up the vent pipe in the washer drain? It can't. It can't because we have the P-trap under the floor. We have a P-trap that goes under the floor, and we have a P-trap right there. So the one under the floor catches any gas coming up, and this one is going to catch any gas going up there too. This is more or less just an air vent because this is 1/4-inch pipe, and they don't make, or at least I can't find fittings easily to finish that. So that's why I vented it like this, because for several reasons. To get the water line, if I went higher, I wouldn't be able to get the water line in between the ABS and that pipe. And I also wouldn't be able to fit it any other way. So we did it this way because that way we still have airflow as the water's going down and through. It's catching it from the box, and then we also have a P trap under the floor too. So there's another one of these down there, and that's going to stop any gases from coming back through. Good question though. Somebody who knows what they're doing. Oh, I didn't know one was under the floor. Yeah. That's the thing with this place. It's a trailer, right? Everything's in the floor. All the plumbing's below this. I still have to pull this sheet up. I just did this to mock everything in place and make sure that our vent for the toilet, not our vent, but our toilet lines up with the wall, so I don't have to customize this wall any more than it is. And we have another vent for the dryer down there. Then right beside that is where this line runs for here. So we got several things going on here. Like, it was a nightmare to put this in place. This is all for the hot water tank. Everything runs. There's a 2x6 joist under here. And so that runs and goes to a main, and then the mains run like this under the floor, feeding another pipe for the vanity over here. We still have to connect this ABS for the vanity, and that runs in line with the toilet. So because they've upgraded things, not everything's going to fit as it used to. And we wanted more room between the wall. There's a wall. There's basically going to be a wall like this, right? Going straight up, boom. And then another wall where that line is going straight up to there. And the shower nozzles are going to be right here. And the tub is going to be right here to here. So everything's very tight in here. And we even have to move all these floor vents because for whatever reason when they built this trailer, they put them right in the doorway. So you're always walking on them. So I'm actually going to move this one possibly to this side of the joist or this side of the joist, depending on how much room we have for the vanity. And then the same thing happened here. That's going to be moved over here. So it's not in the doorway, and everything can work properly. So yeah, tons of stuff going on. And then what's going to be even more fun is when we have to rip out the wall from there all the way across to here because everything's rotten. Like, if you've seen any of the later videos, when we started this job, it started with just doing the bathroom to all of the floor that I'm walking on is basically rotted right to here. So all this got fixed and replaced. We put in new studs. That got replaced. We're going to put some insulation stops, which are those guys built already. Because there's holes underneath this whole thing. And you can see outside over here, this is all rotten, right? Crispy. And a lot of the studs were rotten on this wall. As you can see, rotten. One guy commented, he said, "Was there a fire in there?" Like this is all crispy here. I shouldn't be touching it with my hands, but I definitely know this wall, the plywood was rotten all the way to there. It was rotten all the way to there. and it was rotten from here to this side of the wall. I said, well, we might as well just replace this sheet too. And we cut this back. We're gonna have to cut out the bottom of those walls and new sheets going all the way through. Then build the walls, and everything's gonna be done tickety boo and nice. So just finished building a new bathroom and a walk-in closet with a washer and dryer in my house, and I get the amount of work a job like this can take. And I'm not going to say that you get it but you don't get it, because the problem with this place is when you don't have this plywood in place, you got to move everything 1,000 times because there's nowhere to put anything. And if you look from that wall all the way to the wall behind me, there's basically no plywood. So what's crazy is it takes so much more time because I gotta put down plywood and move everything to that corner and then work my way from that corner back this way. Now that I have something to walk on, it makes it so much easier. But before, I'm like putting down sheets to walk, to put down poly, to fix the underneath here, to do the plumbing. It's just a headache. But you know roughly what it's like to do a normal job. Like if all you're doing is cutting holes in the floor to run your plumbing, it's a little bit easier. But when you got to remove the plywood and do the plumbing and put the plywood to line up, like lining all this up, even this pipe just was a little too tight, right? All of this is going to get stapled to the back of this wall. I made it so that it's long enough. And I'm not saying I know everything. I definitely don't. But I do know how to build a house, for sure, from scratch with new plans and new material. But renovations definitely takes way longer, especially when you come across things that are unexpected. Like if you go back to the beginning of the videos when I started this job a couple months ago. I know it's hard to believe. There's been a lot that's happened during those couple months. I was putting my finger through the drywall. It was so mushy. And they had flooring on the wall. And it was PVC, so it was capturing all the moisture. And it was soaking everything. And everything was messed up. Not to mention that all the plywood runs under the wall. So if you can see, I had to cut all these studs up higher because they use 3/4 inch plates. And I had to remove all the wood and plywood and then run this all the way out flush to that wall. So it's definitely been a challenge. I can even show you what I mean if I move some of this stuff out of the way. Like, look. You see how that plywood runs right outside? Even this needs to be replaced. But they just want their house back. So, I would normally not end all the plywood on one joist, but we're gonna have to on this job. So, it is what it is. Like all the reconstruction that we've done here is crazy. But everything's nice and solid. Like look at it. Listen to how solid that floor is. And this is not screwed down or nailed. And neither is this. All of this is re-insulated underneath. Everything was done properly. So, we added new vents. Right there's a new one. And another one behind me because it's supposed to have one in front of a window. But they literally had one vent right there. And they said this was the coldest room in the house. So it's good that you did a new bathroom and a walk-in closet with a washer and dryer in my house. The amount of work a job like this can be. It can be. I can imagine. I wish I never started this one. Oh my God. Oh, it's simple. It's easy. I didn't factor in that I would have nowhere to work. Like, look at this. From back here, we got 4-foot sheet, 4-foot sheet. So that's 8 feet. 8 feet, 8 feet, 8 feet. So it's 16 feet from there to here, where I'm sitting. It's almost 20 feet of, because I got a 4-foot joint from outside wall to there. So that's 4 foot. 8, 8. That's almost 30 feet to that wall where you see that can of spray foam. That's 30 feet across. From there to there, from there to here. When I switch the camera back and forth, live just kicks me out. But props to you, dude. That's a hell of a job. I appreciate it, Jason. FP8WN. Thanks for watching this channel, and I hope you've learned something. Even though if it means to never take a job like this ever again in your life, but it's because it's my brother's girlfriend's place. That's the only reason why I'm here. Or I would have left and not have started this the moment I opened them. Oh my God. You see, the things that hide behind shit. I had to take the siding off to really see that this wall, because I know that right where that plug is, that whole stud is rotten, completely gone. And if you look above it, there's a little bubble there. Look, I'll show you. There's a little bubble. And you see that little brown spot? That's because water was getting in. And just like over there, water's getting in, water's getting in. And one of the reasons why that is because there's a drip cap flashing on the outside made out of PVC. They had a hailstorm and it smashed it all to bits. So when the water comes off the roof, hits the wall, it can't drip away from the wall, it drips down the wall. And right where that is, there's literally a smashed PVC drip cap. There's another one there, and another one there, and another one. Everywhere where the wall's rotten is where that smashed PVC, and nobody fixed it. So what happens? The water gets in behind the siding, gets in on the plywood, starts rotting away everything. And next thing you know, you have 30 feet of wall that needs to be fixed. Realistically, it's actually 50 feet of wall, because that room next to that pink room, that exterior wall needs to be fixed on that side of the wall. But they just want to get back to normal living, and they didn't expect or budget for all this to happen, even though they asked me for my worst case scenario. He's like, what's your worst case scenario, bro? I'm like, worst case scenario, we have to rebuild the whole place. And the crazy part is, if you can see through this wall here, where you see that plywood going towards that exterior wall, that also needs to be fixed. So we've basically fixed 3/4 of this area. So from this corner is going to be ripped out all the way to the pink wall. I've already ripped out the outside all the way to this corner here. So that's already going to be fixed and replaced. Not to mention all the custom wood that needs to be cut, because one thing, you can go and buy 2x3s, But to be honest, I feel like when you buy the 2x3s, which is 2.5 inch by 2.5, they're dried out. And so when you go to install them, they split, they shatter, they break. That's a lot of the reason why, like in trailers, they use staple guns like crazy. Look, I'll show you something here. Because if you fire a staple into it, there's less chance of it breaking. So this was the backing for the tub. Look at this. So the tub was backed up to here. Look at, they use like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 staples on one stud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on that too. It holds all right. Right? It's not really. It holds it once the drywall's on, but usually, you know, it's just paneling, right? Paneling and rotten insulation, right? So that's another thing you gotta. It's actually easier for me to buy a 2x6 and split it in two with a table saw. No, I have good wood, because we also got to notch all this stuff out to put support in the wall. But like all of this, I'll move this vacuum out of the way and I'll show you guys a little bit of what's going on here. So somebody, let me turn this light on. Somebody did some genius work here. Let me show you. I fixed all this, but this door's still leaking and it needs to be fixed. But look at the, that's a plywood threshold that literally you can't seal it. Right? And if we go out here, oh, you won't be able to see. Do I have my flashlight here? Let me see if I can grab my flashlight. Do I have a flashlight? Oh, I got this light. So, you gotta laugh though, right? Like, some people would be like, oh, I could do that. And then you get stuff like this, right? Look at this. There's no J-trim. And all the siding smashed to bits. So everything behind here, I'm going to switch the camera around. Hopefully I don't lose you guys, because every time I switch the camera, there's that chance. So there's nothing stopping any water from getting in. That's why this is already wet. This is brand new. Look at how well. This. I noticed this the other day. Somebody did J-trim work, but they put the J-trim on wrong. Like, look at, why do you get a channel for water to collect? I don't get it. This is correct. But how did, I don't know. So people were falling through the floor here. Like, look at how rotten this stuff is. It's just paper. I don't even think stepping on this is safe. So I rebuilt all of this, and it's kind of being supported by this joist and that joist over there. And I put this plate here to kind of reinforce these joists. So right now this is just so that the dogs can be let out in the back, and I have one screw holding it in from here. Somebody already fell through this. So you can imagine there's a lot of work that's happened here. And it's not your everyday run of the mill, just build a wall, put it up, and nail it. Because nothing here has been simple. Hey, what's the easy way to jack a house? What do you mean by jack? To jack a house. Are you talking about load points? Window jacks? Cripples? What are we talking about here? VA reconstruction? Load points. What's the easy way to do load points? Well, it depends. Usually, are we building the house from scratch is the question. When I frame houses, so before I started doing renovations, I was framing for like 13 years before I got into doing renovations. I almost wish I stayed framing, but I said to myself at a young age, I said, when I get old enough to be able to buy a piece of land and build my own house, I want to be able to do like almost all the work, if not just some of it. So I got into doing the renovations to learn to do drywall, mud and tape, and plumbing and framing and siding, and like I can do pretty much, I'd say 90% of the stuff. I don't really do electrical. That might be the next thing I might tackle, like maybe take a couple courses on it or learn a bit about it. I have a rough idea like how to put pot lights in a chain and all that kind of stuff, but that was the whole reason why I ended up doing renovations. Now, when it comes to load points, if I was to do load points, I usually do all my load points when I start building the house. So I would take the plans and I would pre-plan where all the load points are going, and then I would basically, like, let's say there's floor cavity, right? Under a window, like on a bungalow, it's not as big of a deal because you don't have a lot of weight, but you should follow the jacks that come down the side of each window, like here too. Let's say there's another jack. Look, here's actually a decent example, but it'll be a little bit easier for me to explain it. So, usually, you'll have a header. Here we just have two plates, right? I never built this place. I'm just fixing it. So, let's say there's a header above this window. So, we got a king stud, which would be beside it, right? This would be a king stud. Then this would be a jack. The jack goes directly under the beam, and the king stud goes directly under the plate, right? So then when we follow the jack all the way down, you're going to have a void under the floor. There should be blocking underneath the floor, right in that area, underneath the window, if there was a header here, right? Same thing, but the studs are rotted out of the wall. So they would come down, and under that void there would be a header there, and it would land on a solid point. So the whole point of load points is you got to carry them through the house. So let's say you have a second floor and you have trusses. And those trusses, like say you have a triple girder, that wood has to travel all the way from underneath the roof through the second floor all the way down to the first floor and into the basement where it lands onto the foundation. That's how you do the load points. You got to make sure that everything transfers through the house properly and ends up supporting the floor above and the floor below. And I'm on the... You can't see that I'm doing this? I can't answer questions when I'm talking to other people. Just give me a minute. I'm almost done.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how you do load points. Learn your colors in electrical. It's easy. Learn your colors in electrical. Yeah, I actually did 3 years of electrical in high school, and and all I needed to do was my 4th year, and I would have been licensed and not even framing. But here I am now. So I don't know how much longer I want to continue to do renovations or construction, to be honest. I think there's a bigger calling for me. And this is just one of the ways I started this channel, was more or less for the dog. I wanted to record our lives together and the adventures and vacations and things that we go on. And it led into me doing this kind of stuff. So what if it's a front door? What do you mean front door? What if it's a front door? But you mean that door that I showed you that was all made out of plywood and... Oh, it's not even done right, but whatever. What if it's the front door of a house entrance? Oh, we're talking about... You're asking about load points? Front door of a house entrance? Well, it all depends on... Do you have access to the ceiling joist cavity in the basement? And what kind of weight do you have above that front door? Is it a 2-story house? Is it a bungalow? If it's a bungalow, you only got to worry about the load point under the front door. And the door does not close right. Well, if the door does not close right, I'll be willing to bet you that not load point, he means low points in the door. Depends. I can show you an example on this door. Well, there could be several things. Could be that the screws in the hinges aren't supporting the door properly. Like, let's look at this door, for instance. Look at this locking mechanism, right? Oh, it locks now. But look at the gap, this pencil. So for one, your door should close flush with the wall. This door is 1/4 inch in the house. It should actually be... It should be flat. Should be flat. Shouldn't be that far away from the wall. And as we get lower and lower, it goes farther and farther away. So, for instance, if you take a level, Chunks, just stay there. Let's take a level. I'll give you a little tip. Here's a tip. If when you open your door, now this door's too stiff to do that. But look, if you open your door, oh look, okay, if I lose you guys, it's because I'm flipping back and forth from the camera. But I'll come right back if you stay in the room. So if you open your door, this one's too stiff because this plywood's here. But if you open your door and your door just automatically does this, that means that it's not level this way. I'd be willing to bet that this door isn't level. This door isn't level that way. It's kind of out. See, like, it's out by like 1/8 on 4 feet. But I can give you a way better example because I know the front door's completely messed up. Check this out. So, I'm going to use this door as an example. Quiet! Watch what happens when I open this door. If I just let it open to a certain point here. Oh, I like how it's just staying there. But see, this door, at that point, it just keeps going. Right? So that means this door's level there. Look at how out of level this door is. This door is out of level by like over an inch on 6 feet. So that means this wall's not level. Or, so like I pushed it back, it actually stayed there. This is another way to level your door. Is you put your level right on the jamb. Look at how out of whack that is. Right? I said jamb, but I meant door. That's like literally 3/4 of an inch out of level on a 4-foot level. So it's more than an inch out of level. So the frame itself, you see how you have a gap here? It's literally a pencil gap right there. But look how tight it is over here. Right? It's literally touching. So this frame is not square and not level, because if you move, yeah, it's completely out of square. But if I just put this level on here, you can see it's out by look at that. That's probably an inch and a half. If I put a level from the bottom to the top, let me go grab my big level. Let me go grab the big level, because I'm actually curious now. I'd be willing to bet you I could put the level in between the other level. That's how bad it's out. Go lay down, Chunks. Let me take these knee pads off. I'm done for tonight. Had enough. This is my plate level. This is what I've used in the past for framing. One of the best things you can have framing, but nowadays people use dot lasers, which is faster, I will admit. Okay, let's put this plate level against, so we're touching at the bottom, and we are level right there. And that, my friends, I could basically stick that, look at that, I could stick that level in between that gap. That's how out of whack it is. So if you're trying to, oh, I like how my level fell through the floor there. If you're trying to figure out your door, you should start with putting your level on the end, seeing how out of whack it is between there and there. Then you can make your adjustments. So to drop this door, you would have to knock in that corner, right? Because technically the level is, we would have to knock that corner in an inch to drop that corner down to make it flush. But this thing was never hung properly in the first place. Like, you shouldn't have a 1/4 inch gap there. The gap should be even all the way across. Like, a square box is supposed to be a square box. Think of a door being a square box and a square opening, and you'll be able to figure it out. So there could be lots of things going on, right? Like maybe somebody who's, oh, I know how to frame, and then did that back there. Oh, I know how to do finished carpentry, and did this here. Like the latch shouldn't be flush. Like you shouldn't be able to see the bolt. That's the kind of stuff you shouldn't be doing. So anyways, back to the load point. Back to the load point stuff. You should check for square. You should check for level, starting with every door. And if it's not square and level, like literally, all you got to do is if you make one side square, like let's use the wall as an example. Let's say we want to put a door in this opening, right? If I make this line, sorry, I'm trying to do this on camera, and if I make this line nice and square, then I can measure from that corner this way the same measurement from top to bottom. And then you can duplicate a square like that. Right? So let's say we want a 30-inch door, right? So as long as that line in that corner is square up and down, you can measure from there over to the next. And then you could check for square after, like before you nail it all together and build your opening. But the measurements should work, right? I'm not saying do that every time. Use a level every time for sure. But like compared to what I've just shown you, if they would have just done measurements, it would have been like 1,000 times better than what it is now. And then you wouldn't have all these problems with like water leaking into the house. Like that whole floor that we fixed over there in that area is all rotten. Why was it rotten? Because that exterior door is just water is leaking in. I put new wood in there and it's leaking in on top of that new wood. That door is the problem. The weather stripping, the everything. There's lots of things that goes into stupid proofing a house for people. And they're really simple shit. But a lot of people who've never done the trades, who've never built anything with their hands, and I'm not trying to discourage people from building. I'm just trying to say, hey, if you're going to build something, at least do it to the best of your ability. And if your ability sucks, at least learn something on how to do it. And then you'll have no issues moving forward into the future. But a lot of people, like I've seen lots of people in the trade, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, what? You did what? Like you squared a house with a fucking framing square? Are you kidding me? Like I've seen it happen time and time. Like I'll give you an example. I started framing with my stepfather. He's an Italian guy. And I had started working with him. And we were in the corner, cause they measured the exterior of the house. So let's use this framing square as an example. They would hook that over the floor. So let's say you have a floor joist, right? Like here, they'd hook it over the floor. And then they would, this is just an example, by the way. They hook it over the floor. And let's say the concrete wall's on this side, foundation's on this side. You need 3.5 inches plus sheeting, so 4 inches from the outside to the inside, right? You would mark 3.5 because most of the time they would run the sheeting down past the joist. But what he would do is you just hook on it, mark 3.5, and go around the entire foundation doing that. And then I said to him, how do you square the house? He's like, you square the house? This is what he did. I'll show you an example. He just did this. He threw the square on the floor. And he's like, see? It's square. Right? He did it in a corner, right? And so I laughed because I said to my, and I didn't know nothing at that time, but I knew enough to know that the house wasn't square based on actually squaring the lines that they're snapping down on the floor. He's using a 2-foot square on, say, a 30-foot house on each corner and then just snapping lines. So nothing ends up square. Just because you think the foundation is square doesn't mean that you can just build off of it. You have to adjust the house to fit properly. And you use a 3-4-5 method, for instance. So like let's say you go three inches across, right? 3 inches across, 4 inches down, right? And then from here to here, it should be 5. Look, I'll show you with a tape measure. I'll show you. Texas Mickey Jack is gonna get you guys learned on a few little things. Squaring is one of them. Because if we were working with round houses, maybe it would be a problem, but if you're working with a box, it should be that the box works in a square-like pattern. So look at this. I'm going to show you. Use a tape measure. So if you have a house, for instance, right, and you want to square your house up. So let's just say this square represents the length of a house in the side from the front to the back. And this represents from side to side, right? So if you want to use the 3-4-5 method, you'll take one part of the square and you'll go 3 inches back down that side of the house. Let's say you want to go farther, then you just double this number. So you go 3, 4, 5. Where's my pencil? Look, I'll show you. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 20. Right? So those measurements should line up every time. So let's go 3, 4, 5. So technically we went 3 down, 4 across. And if you join those two together, you should have 5 inches. Look at that. 5 inches from 4 to 3. If you go 6, 8, 10, so 6, where's 8? What the fuck was I talking about? 6, 8, 10. 6, and then 8. Look at that. 6, 8, 10. That's how you square shit. 6, 8 equals 10. Let's say 12 and 16 should be 20. So we got 12 and down to 16. Look at this. Look at this. 20. 12, 16 equals 20. And if you just intersect those numbers, you will get the 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 20. And if you want to make an even bigger square, just simply, this is like Pythagorean theory. You just go 24, 32, 40. And I don't have enough square to do that, but that's how you would do that. To be honest, maybe I should just make a video on showing people how to square shit. Because one of my biggest pet peeves in the construction industry is that guys are like, we don't got time, we just gotta go fast and fucking put it up, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you can still go fast and do it right. Why can't you do that? You just have to know how to do it. And then you can go and do it, right? But a lot of people, time is money, right? Money, 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 money. But I'm all about like, you can do it good and fast and still produce the quality. Why not? It takes you just as long of a time to do it wrong as it does for you to do it right. The only difference is the doing it wrong way. If you have to fix it, now you've tripled the time that you're going to need to fix things, right? Like, that's what I'm dealing with here. Apparently, there was no mold in this house. I could smell it when I walked in this place. I was like, there's fucking mold here. I can tell. I can smell it. It's that musty, shitty air smell that you get. Like, you know how when you go to the ocean, you could smell the ocean? Well, when you go into a house full of mold, you could smell the mold. That's what it smells like. It's literally like that distinctive. And apparently, the people living in this room and the room in the pink room were always getting sick. Go figure. I wonder why. Could it be the mold? The rotten plywood everywhere, even behind this drywall, everything's rotten. I just didn't take it down. What do we got here? We got VAR construction. People are evil. Money is the rule. I guess he meant to say root of all evil. That is why they do things fast and end up messing up the project. Well, money's a tool like a hammer, for instance. That sledgehammer right there can be used to either do something correctly or fuck something up real good. Like, that could be like maybe one of your exes. You're cheating on me. She could smash your car to bits with that. Or you can build a house with it. Right? Like, money is a tool, and we need to learn how to do things properly. And that's been my goal ever since I started in construction, is just to do it right the first time. So anything I build, you ain't ever going to have to fix. And you ain't ever going to have to fix it because I warranty all my shit like that. Like, if I screwed up, I'll come fix it for free. But I make sure I don't screw up because I hate fixing shit. Why am I even here? Because here I am fixing shit again. Now, there's another thing you need to learn. It's called the keys to manifestation. Never put energy towards something that you don't want. Like saying, I'm never going to crawl underneath this trailer because I knew where that shit pipe is. It was broken and all the shitty water and shit was leaking under the trailer, all in that area. And so we had an issue that happened at this house. The main lines that are underneath this floor, that run front to back here, one of them wasn't connected, but it didn't have any water going in it, right? We only had cold water running to the sink in the kitchen on the other side of that pink wall. I shut off the water one day to do some plumbing work, and I'm almost 100% sure I opened both taps. I know I opened both taps to drain anything that was in the original line. And then when I turned the water back on, I closed both taps. But either it was me or it was somebody else. Who knows? I'm leaning more towards it might have been somebody else. Opened the second tap when the water was hooked up. And so what that does is it creates a vacuum in the tap. And water pours out one end and pours down the pipe that was open in the other end. So underneath this floor, there's like this yellow insulation board that basically is supposed to keep that part of the floor warm. Well, I had just put in new insulation, like you see here. See that stuff in there? Because they only had like a little paper thin piece of insulation on the top. So I said, if we're going to do this, we can put a plastic pan, everything. So long story short, the water starts leaking in. Nobody knows. It wets the insulation that's in there. It becomes heavy and it drops that whole panel. So guess what? Back to the whole manifestation thing. Don't say what you don't want, because you will get everything you don't want in life. The panel drops. I'm like, oh, easiest way to fix that is to go underneath the trailer. So I ended up, there's videos of this. If you go back in the archives, you'll see I'm underneath the trailer, pushing that panel up, getting it back in place, putting boards across the steel beams to hold everything there where it's supposed to be, and learned something from it, right? Always make sure. There was a time when she was turning the water on and she's like, wow, the water pressure is really shitty right now. And I was like, yeah, I don't know why, because you literally got 3/4 inch line running all the way to the sink. And it's connected to that, so you should have good pressure. Well, lo and behold, that other tap was opened and there was a huge pool of water under here. And I had to fix it all. So, lesson learned. Make sure that you do things right the first time so that you don't have to fix shit later on. But again, ladies and gentlemen, we're at like, what time is it now? We've been on this for like, it's like 10 o'clock now. Yay. It's time for me to call it a day. I'm going to wrap this all up. And for you, VAR construction, I will do a video on how to square shit using the Pythagorean theory. And I'll just show you the simple way, the 3, 4, 5 method that I wrote on the floor. You can basically do that anywhere, and you can make it happen nice and easy. So I'll do a video on how to square something, and you guys can maybe benefit from that in the future. And make sure I want to thank everyone. I'm not going to say make sure. I want to thank everybody, because I don't like telling people that they should subscribe to the channel. I want you guys just to do it because you want to do it. So what I do at the end of every video is I just thank to all those who have liked, commented, and shared, and subscribed. I appreciate you. I thank you very much. You guys help build the channel. We're at 6,520, I think, right now, and climbing. It's been a few years we've been doing this, and I'm learning to be better at doing all this camera shit. Before I used to not even like doing any of it, but I did it because of that dog right there. He comes with me to every job. He's always with me, and I wanted to document the life between me and him. And really what I started the channel was so that we could travel together all over the world, and I can bring my dog with me and give him the best life possible. So I'm one of those guys that's an advocate of if you have an animal, build your life around them. I happened to inherit this dog from a shitty roommate because the guy was kind of abusive to the dog, and I just about did a bunch of shit to that guy, but I ended up getting this dog, and it changed my life. So with all that said, that's why I started the channel. Then I was like, well, you know what? I'm always working. That's why I bring the dog with me, because I think it sucks that a dog has to stay at home for like 8 to 10 hours waiting for you to get home and then only get a couple hours out. At least this way, when he's with me, I'll take my lunch and I'll go take him for a walk. In the morning, I'll take him for a walk before we go. So he gets more time out. And he's not waiting for me. Like, imagine it's 10 o'clock right now. And imagine he's at home waiting for me. And he's like, I gotta pee, and I don't want to pee in the house or poo in the house. Well, that's not fair to him, right? That's a prison sentence. Like, oh, you get to go out when the warden gets home, right? Like, I'm not trying to make people feel bad. I just want you to think about it. When you have an animal, it's a lot more than just having an animal and looking at it when you get home whenever you feel like. It's a lifestyle. It's like having kids. You can't just give them up. I know there's shitty people out there that will do shit like that, but that's the way it is with me and my dog. We have life together, and he's changed my life, and he comes with me everywhere. And so we're looking to build this channel to become a good source of information for a lot of things, because it's not just about construction. It's about spirituality. It's about common sense. It's about just using your fucking brain. Like that's what it's really, that's what it's about, using your brain. And a lot of people don't. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that just don't use their brain. And I would like to inspire people, not make them, inspire them to do something different, to become as authentic to oneself as they can be. That's one of my big things I'll talk about, authenticity. And when I talk about authenticity, I'm not just talking about authenticity for the sake of like flapping my mouth. I'm talking about authenticity in a way that you have to, like an onion, change, or not change, but like peel away layer by layer and dissect what makes you who you are. Because I found out in my life that a lot of the things that I thought I liked weren't things that I liked. They were things that I was kind of told that I liked by society, right? They kind of like steer you in the direction to like certain things and buy certain things. And then I started really like layer by layer peeling away and going, well, what actually do I like? What am I? Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? And then you start to really find who you are. And that's what I mean by authenticity. What makes you tick? What makes you who you are? And I think a lot of people will find that a lot of the times who you are is not really who you are. Like if you ask yourself a question, if money wasn't an object, you could go to any kind of school, you could do anything in your life, what would you pick to do the thing that makes you happy? And I find when I ask that question, a lot of people don't know. They're just like, well, I don't know. I've had lots of people that no one's ever asked me something like that. And that means that it's not just that no one's ever asked you something like that. That is, you never asked yourself something like that. That's deep. You've never thought about what makes you tick. So a lot of this channel is about shit like that, right? Common sense in building, common sense in life, common sense in living, right? Like, what's the best way to do things? Well, the way I do things may not be great for other people, but this is just me living my life. You guys get to watch it. You guys get to comment on it. You guys get to criticize it. But in the end, the only person that actually should give a shit about anything is me. Because if I want to track certain things in my life, I have to put myself in that position, right? I have to put myself in those shoes. Like if we're judgmental people in our lives towards other people, that means we're very judgmental and harsh to ourselves. So, again, we were talking about construction. Now we're talking about life shit. But I want to leave you guys with that. Stay authentic. You'll see me say that in a lot of videos. That's what I mean by it. I mean that you are the best version of you that you could be because you've actually sat down, put in the work, did the time, figured things out, and said, hey, I'm worth it and I can make things happen. And you will. You just have to believe it. Don't believe in all the bullshit. Don't believe in all the hype and crap that people are going to shovel down your throat. That society is literally going to manufacture you into a state of mind that is not necessarily who you are. So, going back to that comment about people are evil, well, I think people are created that way. I think as a man, in the life that we live, that we've been created to be a certain way. Like, let's look at it this way. And I'll end it after this, because I can't just keep talking about this shit. I have to go to bed at some point. Some women will be like, before I go out, I have to put on my face. I'm really thinking, what? Put on your face? Makeup. I have to make up my face. What's wrong with your fucking face to begin with? So society has kind of like implanted these you would call it psychological triggers, for instance. And I learned this when training my dog, right? I implanted triggers in the dog when he was young. I said that when this dog gets to a certain age, I don't want to be struggling with a dog that's like dragging me down the street, that's not listening, So a lot of the stuff I'm talking to you guys about actually comes from me training my dog. From training my dog, I realized how much training I myself needed in the first place. For instance, a dog needs a routine. And just so happens that life has that same routine. Like, let's say you're watching TV, right? They call it television programming for a reason. When you're listening to a radio station, they're calling it a radio program, right? They're programming your mind through this thing called suggestive selling. They suggest something and they can sell it to you, but they can only sell it to people who are on that wavelength. They can't sell it to everybody. Like me, I'm a hard sell for a lot of things. Like when I bought Flex Tools, man, you know how many times those people tried to sell me Flex Tools? Where are my Flex Tools? Look, I'm a Flex Tool believer now. You know why? Because I knew they were selling a good product. And I myself only like to build good products. So when you get into a state of mind of you see things a certain way, you cannot unsee them. So once I started like kind of playing around with their tools, and it started with Makita, right? I have my Makita stuff and I basically got rid of everything except for a saw and a blower because it was brand new. And a couple batteries left. I was stuck on a job and I needed to get a drywall router. And if I was to buy one for my Makita, it would cost me $200 just for the bare tool. No batteries, no nothing, just bare tool router. And I was like, that's crazy. I'm like, why do I have to spend so much money on a bare tool router? And so I remember those Flex guys constantly telling me how great their tools were. And I was in a pinch. I needed this stuff then and there. And I happened to walk into a Rona when they still had Flex tools. And I got a Flex screw gun with a feeder and the cone for a regular drywall gun and the router, 2 batteries, a bag, and a promotional like choice of a radio or a vacuum. And guess what the price was? $329 fucking dollars. I was like, man, I'm spending an extra $100, but I'm literally getting everything I need and 2 batteries. When I had my Makita shit, all the batteries were failing. I had like 20 batteries, and out of the 20 batteries, or maybe it was 18, don't quote me on this. Let's say it was 18. And out of the 18 batteries, I only had 6 that were working. And from that time till now I only have 3 that work. And there was a video just the other day where I threw the other one across the room because it wasn't working in my saw. And I was like, man, this is why I freaking hate, and I tossed it. It's actually, look, it's still beside the vent. I'm going to show you that I'm not talking shit. This is real shit. This is what I'm talking. I threw that thing, and that battery is still wedged between the vent. Right here. Look at this. Real talk, right? I threw this piece of shit. Look, it's a 4 volt, 4 amp piece of crap that doesn't work. And that's how I ended up with Flex Tools. I loved the drywall gun so much. I had the brushless Makita drywall gun with the feeder and everything else. Everything broke on the fucking thing. It didn't last longer than a couple years. All my Flex stuff works great. It all is amazing. I love all the Flex shit. And I wish if I could become like a promoter for Flex, I would do that. There was some way that I could like get the channel going and sell good quality tools just like I sell good quality products that I build. Like I don't build nothing half-assed. Everything's done properly. Like I'll get people complaining, can we just get it done faster? Yeah, well, We didn't know that everything was rotten. We didn't know that everything was falling apart, did we? He's like, yeah, I know, but we don't care if it's done right. I'm like, I don't know how to do it any other way. I can't do it any other way. I can't do it wrong. I don't know how to do it wrong. Like, sorry. Hire somebody that can do it wrong. And then call me later to fix it, but the price is going to be triple or double. Anyways, back to the whole suggestive selling. That's how we ended up in Flex. These guys suggestively told me that they were a good product, so it was in the back of my mind. Just like when a woman wakes up and she has to put her face on. Just like a man goes to war to protect his family from the evildoers, right? But we got to ask ourselves, who's really the evildoers? The ones that are telling us that they're the evildoers? They might be the ones, right? Like, we're looking at shit that's going on in the world right now that it makes no sense why we're in the 20th century still fighting wars. Least we not forget. Well, I thought we were never going to do this again, right? So we're going back, right back, full circle to what I said. Never say what you don't want to happen, because it will happen because you put energy towards it. And you had a feeling and a scarcity of it not happening. You bring it into the reality, right? You want to manifest good in your life? You have to become that good. Like, I started doing something February 27th where I started writing down good shit because I was in a state of mind that wasn't really working for me. I was getting angry about my situation in life and like how I'm dealing with all these things, people not paying and crazy ass stuff after I do all the work. And like, this happened like a couple months ago. Back in November, I did this job, and there's videos of me doing the job. And the quote, the price was so much an hour. When I gave them the bill, they were basically going on vacation, and it was $12,000. And I redid this like apartment building downtown for like these wealthy people. And I told the contractor, I said, I want to set up a contract with these people. I don't trust the situation. He's like, don't worry, bro. I'll get your money. You can trust me. I'm like, I know we've known each other for a long time, but I don't like trusting situations like this because I don't want to have to fight for my money. He's like, dude, I swear I got you. Fast forward to January, after I'm supposed to get paid, he gives me a call and he's like, it's a good thing you didn't work with me on that other job because I got fired and didn't get paid from that job. He's like, do you want to hear your good news? I'm like, sure. He's like, so out of that $12,272, those people only want to pay you $6,000. I said, there's no fucking way. There's no way. I work like 12 to 13 hours a day, even 14, because I was working on 3 jobs, and they were all for this guy. And I only got paid like so much money. Fast forward to now, I'm working on this job. And I'm short on everything because like I'm still struggling to get this money back. And I was already in a situation where, I'm making good on my promises. Like, if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I do it. And if I owe or if I fucked up, I'll fix it, right? This was just a situation where people helped me out in the past, and and it wasn't that I had to return the favor. I wanted to return the favor and make the slate clean. And now I'm in a situation where everything's tough. But to overcome all of this, I started doing like it's not a journal. It's more like I started writing down things. I said, okay, if you don't want to think about negative stuff, then what you should do is write down nothing but good stuff. And maybe that good stuff is nothing but good stuff about yourself. So I started writing down good stuff. Like, I start every sentence with the word I am. And then I have to also, within that sentence, use the word manifest or abundance. And then I'll write down a keyword for the day. Like, let's say, I don't know if I've done this one yet, but let's say the word of the day is image. Let's just use that as an example. So I'll be like, I am the image of wealth, prosperity, and good health. as I abundantly manifest in my life today, or flowing through me, or whatever. So what that does is it starts changing the way you think. It starts making you look at things differently. I don't know if you've heard the term, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. That's where the inspiration of this writing started taking place. And I've been doing it for now 35 or 36 days. And I'm really starting to love it. And I even started realizing now I'm working out, I'm getting up in the morning. So there could be chaos going on around you. As long as you can put in your mind the way you think is the way you feel, and the way you feel is the way you speak, and the way you speak, so you will create. That's another thing I write down. As I think, I feel. As I feel, I speak. As I create, so I create. It's another term I use in my writing, and I make sure that I use a 3-6-9 method. So I write something 3 times in the morning, then 6 times in the afternoon, and then 9 times before I go to bed at night. And I do this every day. And it forces you to think of good shit about yourself using those keywords. I'm probably actually going to make something for people to use in their daily life to help them, because I believe that in order to make a change in this world, we have to change the way we look at the world, and we have to change the way we are in the world. The only way we can do that is through this abundant manifestive writing that will help put you in a mindset, because we got to set our minds to work together, to build things together, to love each other together, to be prosperous together. And I have a way that, like, I guarantee we can make change in the world if we all band together and do some of the things that I have as an idea, where we can create a new world that benefits all. We don't got to fight all these wars. We don't got to be talking about like lack, like it's, I see somebody wrote the comment, yeah, it's called Jesus. I want to respond, but like I feel like people aren't ready for what I have to say about that. I used to be very religious. I'm not saying that he never existed. Even to say it's the only way, I don't know. He said he is the way, the truth, and the light. He said, I am in you as you are in me, right? I actually wrote that to somebody today. They were telling me about some spirituality stuff. And you have to think about those words. I am in you as you are in me. God saying that to you. That's one of the things that I've been talking about, is the vibration of your voice is what creates. Like, we have that power. God gave us that power. But I'm not going to keep going on, because we've been talking for like probably an hour now. I have to get to cleaning up and getting ready to go to bed. Maybe we'll have this conversation another day. He's the everything, that's why we're still here to this day. He is the Most High. I can't say I believe all that. I'm sorry. Like, I believe that there is a Son of God. I believe that God created man. I don't believe in religion. No. Me, I'm not a religious dude. I used to be. I used to be very religious. I know a lot about religion. I will pray for you, my brother. You can pray all you want, right? Like, I appreciate it. But I believe God has put a gift in me to wake up the masses, in a sense that we need to see things for what, Like if you want to get literal and you want to quote stuff out of the Bible, we all need to live it, right? Like that was one of the reasons why I stopped going to church, because I saw a lot of things I didn't believe in, because it didn't make sense. Like God didn't put that in my heart, right? Like I believe, like it says in the Bible, it says, where two or more are gathered, I am there. So that means you do not need a building to preach out of. And he writes everything you need to know right in here. The word that you use is an example, but even that can be tainted. Even that can be misleading. So you need to listen to this. That's what I believe. The path to destruction is wide. The path to the Savior is narrow. Okay, so you say that, right? Path is narrow. How many churches are there? Think about that. Think about how many television evangelists are out there. Look at how many churches are out there. There's mass amounts of religion out there. And I believe the path that I walk on is that overgrown path that you speak of. Is that guiding path because God is sending you in a direction. Church, I do to go hypocrite. I don't know. I don't know if he's calling me a hypocrite. Whatever. To me, it doesn't matter. Because I know that my intentions are good. And I know that what I'm bringing to the world is authenticity. And I think that's Christ consciousness, if you want to call it that. I think Christ consciousness is to be original and original to yourself, and to project into the world a version of you that only he gave to you. Only he imprinted on you. Well, okay, so let's use that. Okay, you're going to say, I got to Jesus. I don't know if you meant I go to Jesus or if I got to Jesus, but you want to use the word Jesus, right? Let's just look at scripture where it says, no man on the face of the earth will have the same name as the Son of God. Let's go to Mexico now. Go to Jesus. Let's go to Mexico. How many Jesuses are in Mexico? So I feel like, and especially if we're going to talk about Hebrew stuff, right? There's no J in Hebrew, right? That's not part of their like alphabetical order. So where does Jesus come from? What about Yeshua? What about Yeshua LaMashiach? What about Yahweh? Right? Those are names of God. I don't see any other man out there being called that. Jesus in Mexico is the same as Jesus' name. It's pronounced different. Yeah, it's Jesus, but it's spelt the same way. You are speaking nonsense. Well, hey, if you feel I'm speaking nonsense, then just don't watch the channel. Really, like, to be honest, I'm just giving you this is where authenticity comes in. You have to peel everything away layer by layer like an onion, because then you'll find things that you don't like, and then you'll get offended easily, right? What's your thoughts on Jesus having 40% Indian DNA? I've never heard that one before. That's different. See, even the fact that you're using the word God bless. I will pray for you, my friend. Thank you. Pray. But I'm not gonna let anybody get to me. Like, I'm not a robot. I'm not just gonna go, oh, I read it in the book. The book says it. It says it there. But I can write shit on the floor in crayon. And does that mean it's fact? Right? There's also scripture that says, no man, to whoever goes and changes this gospel, all of the sins of this Bible will be cast upon him, right? And there's been many changes in the Bible, so how do you know what's true? You can't even believe what you see on TV nowadays because of AI. So persecute me if you want. Pray for me if you want. But I know I ain't getting shaken by any of this because I'm still going to stay true to my authenticity. And I'm still going to speak the word that I believe that I was put here to speak. And it's the truth. And I know that a lot of people, by me speaking the truth, is going to offend them. And they're going to hate me for it because I'm talking the truth. Because one of the reasons why I stopped going to church, I'll explain it to you right here, right now. And I'm going to end it after this. That's it. After this, I'm done. I'm going to do another live tomorrow. But this is why I stopped going to church. We went there one day, and I came in, and the pastor pointed me out of the entire crowd. And that day, I was coming there because I didn't have nothing better to do. My mom was like, you got to come to church, saying all this kind of stuff, right? And then the pastor said, you thought you had nothing better to do? That's why you came here today? And he kind of like spoke my mind and then picked me out of the crowd and said I was going to do great works. And I still believe that's on its way. So this Texas Mickey Jack channel isn't just about construction. There's going to be some stuff coming down the pipe that if you stay tuned to, you're going to come back to this video and you're going to be like, yeah, that guy said it. He said it was going to make it happen. So back to the whole thing in the church. At the end of the service, I go to talk to this pastor. His name was Tony. And all these pastors are going to tell you that God spoke to them and they're anointed, right? I'm not saying that it's not true, but I'm just saying they're all going to tell you that. And I waited for like probably 45 minutes before I could finally talk to him. And I said to him, I said, why did you pick me? He's like, oh, I just felt called in the spirit to do that. And I said, oh, really? Okay. I'm like, I have a few questions to ask you. It's been on my mind, and I'm curious, what do you think about this? And so he said, sure, go ahead. Say what you got to say. And I said to him, I said, do you believe in the Old Testament? He's like, yeah, I believe in the Old Testament. I'm like, do you believe that the Old Testament still applies to us today? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, interesting. And I said, because a lot of Christians will be like, well, they're washed in the blood and all this other stuff. The Lamb of God has died for our sins and all that other stuff, right? And so I said to him, I said, so you believe in the Old Testament, you believe that the Old Testament applies today. I'm like, so what about idol worship? It's forbidden, right? He's like, yeah. And I just had this feeling, and I know when I say this, a lot of people are going to get pissed off, but I'm just going to say it anyways because that's just the kind of guy I am. I have to be authentic. I can't not speak the truth. And that's the difference between being authentic and not being authentic, is that you can't see it any other way. And I said to him, I said, so then why are we worshiping idols in the church? And he's like, idols? And this is a Baptist church, by the way. But I've seen it in every other church. And he's like, idols. And I said, okay, I have one more question to ask you before I answer what I sparked your curiosity about with the whole idols thing. I said to him, I said, do you know what the definition of faith is? And he said, the definition of faith is, you just got to believe in God and all this other stuff and da-da-da-da. And I said, well, actually, the real definition of faith means the belief in the evidence of things that are unseen. He's like, yeah, that's right. He agreed with me. And so then I said to him, I said, so worshiping false idols, it also says in the Old Testament, it says that no man shall have the same name as the Son of God. And it also said, there was another one. What the fuck? My point's kind of going off because I'm tired. We'll go back to the idol worship. So then I said to him, I said, idols, we worship idols in the church. He's like, how so? I'm like, well, you have a cross in the front of the church, do you not? He's like, yeah. And I said, well, technically that's a false idol. He's like, what? False idol? I'm like, well, it's an idol that we're raising our hands to. praying towards a cross at the head of the church. So you're worshiping an idol, are you not? He said, no, because people need, they need a symbol of faith. And I was like, Remember, the definition of faith is the belief in the evidence of things that are unseen. So if you're teaching everybody to worship God, but you don't realize that there's an idol in the church, and you're not helping guide them to this faith and belief without using an idol, then you're practicing false worship. And I said, for that reason alone, I can't come back into this church ever again in my life. He's like, yeah, but I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't do it because I have to practice something that is true. And if you're telling me that everything in this book is true, and that I have to practice it word for word, then, or all the sins of this book will be cast upon me, right? I can't participate anymore knowing what I know. And that was the last time I stepped foot in the church. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, and sharing and commenting. You guys have a great night. Texas Mickey Jack, loving life, living life. Make sure you stay authentic. Good night. Bye.